Welcome back to Titan Table Talk as we talk with Coach Maya Smith, the women's basketball coach. And Coach, it's been over a month since we've had a chance to talk. A lot of things that happened. You had kind of as far as wins, losses go, a tough trip out to California. 2 really close games, losing to Laverne 65-62, Claremont Mudscripts 79-77. Tell us a little bit about that trip, not just the basketball, but the bonding that takes place and everything else.
Well, despite the 2 losses, it was a fun trip. We had a great time. A lot of parents joined us, a lot of family members. Even Taylor Tarver had some great aunts and uncles that brought about a bunch of 16 of them, I think, to come see her play. And she had never met before, so that was really interesting. We did a trip to Universal Studios, which the girls absolutely loved. And, those types of things are made possible due to our Titan Athletic Fund, to our women's basketball when we donate on All-In Day. So really grateful for the folks that love us so much that they think to give back and allow our team to be able to do fun things like that, because I think we're pretty special in that aspect.
Well, let's talk about the All-In Day first. Coming up somewhat here in the spring?
Yep.
And that
April, I think.
I was going to say, I'm not going to put you on the spot for the actual date, but coming up. So our listeners, when we get closer to that, we'll mention that so people can start thinking about that and donating, so you can continue to give those experience to the young ladies. We're beyond the heart of the conference schedule. We're starting to get towards the end of it. Just 5 games left to go, 3 home games. The standings pretty tight. Milliken up top at 10-0, Carroll 8-2, but then it really gets tight. 7-4 with Augustana Wheaton. You're at 6-5. Carthage 5-6. So really getting into the heart of things, and you play some of those teams. But let's start with your next game, Elmhurst. Coming up on Wednesday night, you get to go up to Elmhurst. You beat them pretty good when they were here, getting into triple digits offensively. How do you keep the ladies focused on this game and not looking into the future?
I think the girls actually know how important each game is moving forward from here on out. The coach from Elmhurst, absolutely one of my favorite coaches to play against. She always seems, no matter win or loss, she always has the same happiness about her, and I really appreciate that. I'm pretty sure the girls are focused in. They're locked in. They've been locked in. I've not been disappointed with our effort or our outcomes. We certainly don't like the losses, certainly not accustomed to those types of losses, but there's a lot of things that are kind of playing into some of those losses. Still really love this team. My goodness, I can't tell you how much fun they are. And they keep their attitudes pretty upbeat despite some of the losses, but there's some things you just can't overcome, and injury has plagued us this year.
Well, and you do have one player who's been out for most of the conference schedule, and we won't get into when her return is, but one of the newcomers this year, and I got a chance to talk to her after the last home game, and I believe she goes by Katie Knudsen. There's so many Kates, I lose track of who's what, but Katie Knudsen, what has she brought to the table that was kind of missing from this team before she arrived on campus?
Oh, definitely a post presence and a rebounding presence. Kaya Bowen was an undersized post player for us at the 5 and did just an incredible job. But Katie is a true back-to-the-back post player. She's the ability to rip and drive from the free throw line, likes the 10 to 12-foot jumper, and then just is a rebounding presence for us as well as a defensive presence. And we love her attitude. We love Katie. She totally fit the bill of what a Titan should be, and just having her on the time. She's a smile every day, and she's a woohoo, let's go every day. So it's been really a fun time to have her. She actually is injured right now, and we're praying for good results.
Well, I will add that to my prayers also. Another newcomer who came in, freshman Sawyer White, just the energy she brings. We joke around during broadcasts when there's a kick that, she's falling back to her soccer days. But what a joy she's been. And she's been shooting very well from the outside, 36% from three-point land.
That's really good. And Sawyer when I walked over here today, she and Sarah Bally were in the gym on the gun. And today is their day off. We gave them 2 back-to-back days off. We were a little bit afraid of so many injuries that we have right now and the fatigue factor. So we thought today would be a good day to take 2 back-to-back off. And those 2 decided not to. They're in the gym already shooting.
And that's amazing when you get players who just want to be in there. Reminds me of an All-American on the men's side the last couple of years in Matt Laritz. When he first came, I always saw him in there shooting. Let's talk about another player who's been playing through injury, just incredible. And this stat just amazed me. Your best three-point shooter of people who have 15 or more three-point attempts. Do you know who it is?
I would say Kate Palmer.
Lauren Huber.
Lauren Huber.
She is shooting 37% from three-point land, which amazed me because we're not used to her shooting three. She's shot a couple in the last couple home games we've noticed, and just incredible. Been playing with a hurt leg this year. You told us about that a couple weeks ago. But her these numbers are incredible. 54% from the field, 37% from three-point land, and it's not like they're all bunnies. They're little jumpers. They're all over the floor where she's shooting from.
She's double teamed and triple teamed a lot of times, and she has just been an All-American status type player right now. I cannot be happier with, and again, a player that doesn't practice hardly at all. For her to do those things and to not practice is really amazing.
Well, earlier in our broadcast, we had Todd Huber in here, and we were talking about the mental aspect of the game and the drive to want to win, the drive to want to do better that you need in track and field. And I see that in Lauren. Oh, by the way, she's also over 100 rebounds ahead of the next rebound leader on the team. She has 202. Caitlin Heller has 98 to be in second place. That's for somebody who's not practicing because of injury to stay healthy. That is just amazing to be able to do that type of work.
I'm pretty sure if you looked up amazing in the dictionary, you'd see Lauren Huber's picture.
I do not doubt that. You mentioned Kate Palmer earlier. She's shooting 32% from three-point land. She warmed up in that game on Saturday at Augustana. Nice to see her be able to knock a few of those down again.
Absolutely. And she needed to get going. She knew she did. And the thing about Kate Palmer, she's a fighter. She's going to fight through whatever adversity is there. And I actually loved her defense in the game against Augie even more than I loved her offense. But certainly a girl that works at her craft.
And then let's talk about the one out on the floor who kind of guides everything, Caitlin Heller. Your point guard's always one of your main players out there, knowing what's going on, moving the ball, getting it to where you need it. And Caitlin's done a great job with that.
Yeah, she didn't have the performance I know she wanted to have against Augie, but she has had some incredible games. And really, again, that's a hard worker. It'd be hard-pressed to find anybody that works harder than Caitlin Heller.
And she's averaging 3.5 assists a game, so leading the team there. Also, number 2 in steals, she has 31. Sawyer White has 34, if we want to get back to the defensive end of things. That's pretty impressive. We mentioned that Mallory Powers was out a little bit. Laura Malum, she sees a little bit of playing time along with Kelly Carlson. Tell us about those two.
Yeah, Kelly is a senior playing for us, and one of the players that has bought into her role, knows exactly what she has to do for us. Her job is to get the bigs out of the paint. So she pushes up, rebounds, scores when opportunity arises for her, scores in just odd moments for me. But really love the way, and again, Kelly's another one of those girls that has a great attitude in practice. And then as far as Laura Malum goes, she has got the perfect body to be a player 1 through 5, we think. And she shoots the 3 ball. Her stats statistically in the games are not very good, but she has a pretty 3-point shot. We're trying to get her to get into the paint, go off to get more rebounds for us, and then she plays very solid defense.
Well, if we can go back to Kelly Carlson just for a moment, 53% from the field shooting.
Yep.
That's, for somebody who you don't think of as a scorer, that's some pretty good shooting ability.
Kelly's never going to put up a bad shot. She has that uncanny ability to know when she needs to take it and when she shouldn't.
Yeah, if it wasn't for a young lady named Lauren Huber, she'd be your best field goal percentage there, and that's saying quite a bit. I mean, she's only 0.04 of a point behind her in that category. And then you mentioned, we talked about Laura Malum just a little bit there. How tough is that for a new player to be able to come in and fill all 5 different roles?
Well, last year they made it look really easy. Those 3 freshmen did, Lauren and Mallory and KP. And our freshmen this year, I think, are equally talented. But it just doesn't seem to be coming as quickly for them. Another one we haven't talked about is Sarah Bally, and that girl is athletic, and she's starting to get it figured out. In the game against Augie, there was my favorite part was a pass from Sawyer to Sarah in transition for an incredible, just fast layup. And those two I think we're going to see that for a long time to come. Sarah Bally from Sawyer White.
That's going to be a fun one to try and say. Bally or White to Bally. There we go. We'll get that going. So we do have Elmhurst coming up. You're in 5th place right now in the standings. And we don't like to count wins before they're actually in there. But if you defeat Elmhurst, that moves you up there. That puts you at 7-5 in conference. Pretty much, it guarantees you to be in the postseason. And now we're working on that seeding. A couple of the other games coming up. You have a rematch against Carroll and Milliken, both at home, February 4th, February 8th. And I know you don't want to get ahead of yourself, but I do want to get out there and say, fans, come out to those games. The how much is that crowd helpful? Obviously, the pep band, we know that. But the crowd, how much do they add that 7th player after the pep band being number 6? How helpful is it to have that type of crowd?
You cannot imagine what that means to the players and to our staff and to our IWU community, even our players' parents. I mean, when we have a great crowd, they are just so appreciative. And I tell you, I don't think there's a team anywhere in the CCIW, maybe even in D3, that loves and feels loved by their fans more than what we do.
Well, we'll be talking with you hopefully in another week after the Carroll game, getting ready for that Milliken game. So hopefully we'll be saying how great that crowd was on Saturday and how good they're going to be on Wednesday next time we talk.
Yeah. Can we point out that the Pink Zone is Saturday?
Yes, Pink Zone is Saturday, February 4th. And actually one other thing, on Wednesday is Women in Sports Day.
All right.
So to get a big win there up in Elmhurst to celebrate that. And
we'll do our best.
We'll talk some more about that. And the Pink Zone game on Saturday, that's against Carroll. 5 o'clock is tip, so fans show up here about 4:30, 4:45, get in the mood as that pep band gets you going, and then keep the noise going all the way through the women's and the men's game.
Love our pep band.
That is Coach Maya Smith, women's basketball. You are listening and watching Titan Table Talk. I'm your host, Derek Bowman.